Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome to my video. I'm going to show you how to make this tag today where ravens fly, showcasing some of the new stamps from the Coven of Curiosities release and some older stamps as well. So, starting with one of my favourite sizes of pieces of card, A6, and all I've done is cut a piece 5 centimetres width. That's the size I needed to be able to fit my raven nicely on there. And it's the beauty of making your own tags, really. I mean, tags look lovely with their corners cut off and everything, but really a rectangle of card and a hole punch works pretty well. So we're going to start with the background, and I'm using Versifying Elements, and to start with I'm going to do an overall colour. I'm using my squarely block for my jelly plate just because it's a really good size, and I'm going to start with the lighter colours. So I'm using Spun Candy and Violet Chalk. I'm just dabbing those on there. Give them a spritz of water. Move my tag out of the way so it doesn't get splattered. And I'm just going to swipe my piece of card through that. And yes, I could do it on my mat, but then it will get mucky. It's still fairly new to me. So let's give that a bit of a blast with the heat tool. So it's slightly I'm going to start building up layers. So let's wipe that off. And I want to get a bit more of that pink in. So let's just do the pink this time. Give it a spritz. I'm going to turn it the other way up just so I can see where to smoosh it. And I've got some nice speckles there, so lightly touch it and it will pick those up. So there we go, that's the base. And then we're going to create a moon outline. So I've got the smallest of the circle masks, and there's a little bit of tape left on there from another stamping time. So I'm mostly going on here. I've got a little bit of space up there and a bit of space over there. I'm kind of overlapping it. So now I'm going to get another block, this time a smaller one, this one a clean, and just because it's a bit easier to handle because I'm going to be pressing it down this time. So let's put some of the darker colour on. Let's put some midnight blue on there and some violet. Give that a spritz. And I'm going to take a little bit away, just so make sure that I don't get any of those lines. There we go. Now, this is where it gets a bit trickier because that mask is going to prevent me from getting very close, but that's okay because we're going to add some colour with stencil brush. So what I'm looking for is some of this blotchy ink. Just a bit more water on there, and splodge this down. Splodge being a technical term, as we know. So there we go. Maybe do another bit of pink and purple. I don't know that pink will show up very much, but we'll give it a go. And again, I'm just going to blotch off some of that. And let's just kind of kiss it gently. So we're collecting those nice dotty marks. There we go. Give it a bit of a blast. Right down that block. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, while that mask is on there, just going to get a stencil brush and go round with, we'll use graphite around the circle. So, and a dark brush. And then we're going to add some splatters to this so that it kind of blends in with what we've been doing. Add a bit around there while I've got the brush in my hand. There we go. So it gives us a nice dark outline. And then I'm going to get a smaller brush and a violet chalk, and I'm going to go around the inside of that circle shape to create my moon. Put that down there, then you can see both together. So I'm touching it round the edge where it's really dark here anyway from that graphite ink. Doing it very gently from there, and then and quite lightly, and then pulling the colour in. So with those marks that we've already got there, it looks quite moon-like. Obviously an alternative is to use the moon stamp if you wanted. There we go. So that's those stenciled in. Let's get the heat gun again and the spray, and I'm going to spray and heat at the same time. There we go. So that's our moon shape. And we can start building up now with some of the stamping. Now, I couldn't find my roots when I first designed this, so but I could find my forest arch. So I've used my forest arch to make my roots, and I really quite like it. I did find my roots since then, but I think these work well as an alternative. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that in that corner and it's just coming off to the side. There we go, like that. Now what I need now is I'm going to mask those off so that my post and these look like they're either behind that root or coming up from it. So I've stamped that arch onto a piece of paper and just trimmed round so that I can create a mask there. And we need Hallowmere post. Pop those to one side. Put that in. And of course you could use masking paper rather than transparent piece of paper like this, but I'm just using my paper. So there's the post. And I press it a bit harder down here just so it goes over the edge of the paper, because you don't realise paper's quite thick until you do things like this. Now, while I've got this on my block, I'm just going to create a piece of pink paper. So we'll get the spun candy. Like this. It's just a quick way of colouring in, really. Stamp that up again and press that down, and then I've got a lighter colour for my signs. Okay, so that's the post. Then we need our raven sitting on top, who's flown away. There he is. Oh no, he's not. He's here. Let's ink him up. I'm going to try and get his claw on the top of that post. There he is. There he is, in all his glory. Okay, and then I've got some bits of lavender. Now these are from the Flower Pot stamp set. I just really liked the fineness of it, but there's various stamps you could use. You could use some grasses or whatever you like, really, that would fit at the bottom. But I chose to use these. So again, using that mask. Those two. For part of this. And then that lower section, they're just going to be there. And then I'm going to add my favourite tiny toadstools, which are from the Forest Lamp set. It's one of the set names I know almost by heart now because I use it so often. So let's ink those toadstools up now. I'm going to have some growing out of the top of the sign. Doesn't matter too much about stamping on there because I'm going to cover that sign up, but I don't want them hanging around the bottom edge. Let's put some more down here. So some there. And maybe a couple over here. There we go. I'm going to use the word stamp with Hawthorn Rose just to give us a bit of texture behind the scenes, and even though that's quite a light colour, I love how it's showing up. And then I used the edge of this one for my words here, which I cut out, which did in a similar way to these. So violet chalk, it onto your paper. And I think it's the first sentence. Yes, it's the first sentence that says where ravens fly. So we can stamp that on there. And then they're ready to cut out. And then we need some stars. I've been using my star cluster. There's a few star stamps, so again, use your choice of stars. And there is an option to stamp it like that around the moon, but I'm going to use them around the edges. Pop those stars in. I love the amount of stars and dots you get in this cluster. There we go. So that's that. So I just need to cut these out to glue them in, and those of you in the UK who remember Blue Peter, here's some I did earlier. So let's put those on. So I set myself up with everything. It's all here in front of me, and I still lose something. So today it's the glue stick. Let's put that on there. Oh. I'm going to use a fine black pen to colour in that root, just to make it stand out and look like a silhouette. And then we'll add, oh sorry, knocked the camera. Let's add a bit of graphite around that bottom corner with my small brush and into here, just to give those roots a bit of depth. And then we just need some white pen. It's my new favourite white pen. Is one of these Sig Mangaka. Opaque line is so fine. Just love it. I'm just going to do some star-like dots round and about the edge of my circle mask, kind of creating stars around that moon. And if you want to, you can add a hint of moonlight. And maybe a bit on the roots. The flowers haven't stood out as much on this one, so I'm not going to do anything on them. And all we need is a hole punch. I can measure this. I'm just going to eyeball it. And I've used some hemp cord, which comes folded like this, and I find that that folds perfect length really for a bit of string for a tag. Because it's natural, it has different thicknesses. So some bits are thicker than others, which can sometimes, as you can see, make it a bit tricky to pull. There we go. So there we are. Our tag, Ravens Fly. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you make one. I love to see other people's interpretations. See you soon.